Welcome to another episode of DD on the Spot. As always, I'm your host, Ryan Johnson. Before we get into it with our guest here today, I'd like to remind everyone that if you enjoy this content, please give a like and subscribe down below. I'd greatly appreciate it. We have Mira on the podcast. She's coming to us all the way from Finland, where recently she's won her pro card. So, yeah, we'll talk all about that and, just discuss all things health and fitness. But most importantly, she's our current guest. Mira, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for asking me.
Oh, absolutely. You kidding me? And I normally ask what the weather's like, but we're not even going to go into that basically since we both live in parts of the world that are not going to be, seeing the best of times winter-wise, at least in the coming months. So to get things started, why don't you just first off give us your backstory on what inspired and motivated you to get in shape and how that led to where you're at right now?
Okay, let's start. Okay, my fitness path was starting when I was young, something like 18 years, and uh, I needed some strength, and I was in the gym, and I saw that I have power in me, and I started to lift heavier weights all the time, and I was how to say power lifter, and it inspires me to get more muscles. And then suddenly I didn't know how to eat correct, so I didn't gain as much muscles as I needed. So that's how I find my coach, and I ask about if he can make some meal plans to support my lifting. And here I am 7 years later, and we are still working together. And I just shifted on from the powerlifting in the bodybuilding, so that's how it went.
What's it been like switching from powerlifting to bodybuilding? Because I've talked to a few guests that have done that, but it's such a big change, especially when it comes to your nutrition, the training as well. What has that switch been like for you?
I saw that it's more like familiar and more in my heart than I can eat correctly, and I have fitness plans, and everything is like uh, so clear to me. I love it. It's so fantastic. I love it.
What have your friends and family's reaction been like since you announced them, hey, I want to give bodybuilding a try?
Okay, this is a tricky one. Of course, my family was like, no, 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 don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And I was like, come on, why not? And yeah, my father didn't like this, and they told me that, yeah, don't do it. But because I am who I am, and I'm always doing what I want to do, so here I am.
I'm part Norwegian myself, so those modest Scandinavian cultures, yeah, too. Bodybuilding doesn't really go well with that whole aspect. But when you're just getting into this lifestyle, I mean, so many people don't understand what really it entails and how difficult it can be. What was probably the biggest thing that surprised you when it came to this lifestyle?
Uh, I don't know. There is no surprises for me. I think that it feels like this is I was born to do this, so it just fit me. I don't know.
Hey, I get that answer quite a lot, but I mean, when it also comes to being born to do this, we got to talk about genetics because everyone always has that one body part that really, really takes off that they don't have to train as much. And then everyone always has that one body part that they just have to drag behind that they to train to oblivion. When you got started, what was one body part that really took off? And what's been one body part that you've just had to drag behind?
When I started, when I was powerlifting, uh, I felt that I haven't powered as much as other places on my legs. But when I started to just do it, then the legs came with all other parts. So I think legs was the weakness, definitely.
What's one area that you can just basically look at and it grows?
My biceps, are growing, and triceps also. They are huge.
So you're a gym bro at heart, basically.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good problem to have. I will say that that's one of those areas that you can never get too big with that. But I mean, like you were talking about before, the nutrition aspect of this sport is so important, and a lot of people just don't understand that. That's one area that I really struggled with myself because I have to eat certain types of food, which it's not really the best thing for me then to maybe be competing. But what's been this whole journey like for you, the nutrition side of things?
Yeah. Okay. So when I was powerlifting and I was eating pretty much everything that as much I feel that I need. And now when I am in the dieting very much, and it is I have to eat something, even though I don't feel like I would like to. So that's a big difference. But I like it because I don't know. I can feel something like this is what I want to do. I want to know everything what I'm putting on my body. So I don't know. It's just nice.
Oh, it's definitely a process too, and on top of that process, I mean, one of the things that is not talked about as much as it should be that really is one of the hardest things when it comes to competing in this sport is posing. A lot of people don't understand that for a lot of guests I've had on, it's one of the hardest things. What has your experience with posing been like?
I don't know. On the start, when I was just trying to do it, first time in 2019, uh, I wasn't good, and I was only trying to do the process. But when I learned how to do the basic ones, I started to like I listened to music, and the music gave me some movements. So I learned by myself how to shift my body from the poses to other poses. So that's something what is coming from my head. So I am improvising a lot. So it just feels so fantastic to do it. So
What kind of music would you listen to help? Was there a specific type of music that helped the most?
now it's pretty much everything. Yeah, of course, it how you listen to music, if it's aggressive or beautiful or something, you feel it in your body. So is the performance is also like that. So if the music is beautiful, you feel beautiful, and your performance is beautiful and feminine. And when it's something heavy, you are like masculine, and so I prefer to listen something beautiful because I want to keep my performance like feminine. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to be breaking out the most musculars on stage and stuff like that when you're doing doing that stuff. But when it comes down to the poses that you do, what is your favorite pose and what is your least favorite pose?
um, my favorite is my side pose, what I do uh, most of the time on the stage. But it's not the pose what we should have. It's just my own. Uh, what I don't like is my left side pose. What is mean to be there? Yeah.
And you just won your pro card. What was that moment like when they announced your name and you realized, oh my God, I'm a pro now?
Oh, that was tricky. First of all, I didn't. Uh, I wasn't ready for that. I was just. I should compete on the other competitions later this year, and I was thinking I'm going to get it from there. And these competitions should be just my happy competitions to have some experience. And it came up that I am the bro now, and I was shocked. Yeah, and they was asking me what next, what is happening next now, and I was like, I'm gonna eat some cinnamon rolls and buns, and and I assumed they was asking what is my next competitions or something, but that was all I was uh, capable of to say. So yeah, I was in shock.
How long did it take before it finally settled in the thought of, oh my God, I'm a pro now and I'm going to have to be competing in pro shows? Because it's like you're going from a little fish to a big pond now.
Um, yeah, I'm processing it all the time now, and actually, when I walk from the States on the backstage, I was like, I was, my tears was falling, and I was like, oh my God, what have I done? And yeah, it was very emotional because the path in this competition it wasn't easy. There was a lot of things that trying to throw me down. So I was so shocked in the everything.
Well, and I love that you brought it up because, especially during a prep, I mean, so many things can happen. And a lot of times, yeah, there are those roadblocks that try to sort of derail a prep. How do you get through that? Where do you think that, either that mental strength comes from or just that willingness to push through? Where do you think that personally comes from for you?
I don't know. I think I'm just that kind of person who wants something, and I am willing to do everything and what it ever takes to have the goal. So I think it's in my head. I just want something and I take it.
Absolutely. And I mean, let's be honest, you're not the average looking woman in Finland. Like, if you were to go around, especially as you got closer and leaner for a show, I mean, I like to compare it to being like a mini celebrity where you are going to get people's attention just because it's when they see something that's not the normal, it's kind of hard to not, look at it every once in a while. So, what has that been like for you as you've sort of adjusted to the fact that, like, I am going to draw more people's attention with this physique?
You asking that what I think that I am having attention about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's that like maybe with the extra added attention that you might be getting?
Mm. I haven't ever think about it. The attention. But yeah, of course, I will have more attention now. Yeah.
Oh, you haven't already had some to begin with, even before you got your pro card?
Some attention, yes. And yeah, when I am in gym, I have many times people asking, "Oh, are you going to compete some competitions or something?" And even when I am in my off season, people are recognizing that I have muscles, a lot of them. So yeah, people is recognizing it and asking about it, and they are interested about it. And yeah, now when I think about, yes, in the other places also where I am working around, people are interested and came asking about my life and want to know how did I do it. So
How do you respond to that when they ask you, how did you do it?
uh, I don't know. It's a lot of work and heavy weights.
You don't just tell them I woke up like this. I just naturally, magically just woke up like
I
this.
just
Yeah,
follow
yeah, exactly. You know what? I just dreamed it and it happened. So no, but
it.
I just asked that because, especially as an American, we're like, yeah, you would not be able to walk down a street without like 20 people like coming up to you and being like, how did you look like that? How did you get like that? Like, what's going on here? So I forget. Yeah, in some countries they aren't really as friendly as Americans are, at least in just being able to come up to you and talk to you, or a lot. So yeah, but just especially in this, lifestyle, we talked about how much, of a physical change happens too, but just that mental journey as well, where so many people like to talk about the physical changes that have happened, but that mental change is 100 times more important than any of the physical changes. And, a lot of times people close to you won't really notice that mental change because they'll just notice that physical change. But what has this entire journey been like for you mentally?
Uh, I think that had I have been more strength in my head after everything is growing me as a human, and I see that this is a huge performance progress, or what is, I don't know. I don't know the words, but yeah, I am growing inside my head, and it teaches me a lot every time I'm in the prep, and yeah, it's growing me inside.
I mean, yeah, you grow multiple through multiple ways in this sport, absolutely. I mean, also coming as an American, how big is the sport of bodybuilding in Finland? Is it well known, or is it sort of more, not as well known in Finland as it might be in the States? Where would you sort of judge it at?
I think that this bodybuilding is two ways in Finland, and where I was competing in Finland is it's not so familiar. There is more like men's, not so much women's, and the other part is more like women's. And in Finland we have like uh, it's it's more like our country sport. This body fitness, called body fitness. It's like national sports, I think. So, but this figure, it's not so familiar with Finland, so Finnish people. No?
Had you always wanted to do figure, or were you planning on maybe doing a different division, or what's that journey been like?
Uh, First, I was in 2019 in this other part, what I mentioned. I was in there, and I was how to say, body fitness, yeah. And I saw that it's not for me. My body is bigger than that category, so I switched on the other side. Yeah, I think figure is more for me because I can be bigger and I don't have to put my muscles to fit in the other places.
Well, especially talking about figure, and when we just talked about posing, but there's that one pose, the front pose, where I've talked to so many people who that is one of the hardest poses ever to learn, just to be able to like flare your back and just being able to figure that out. Was that something that you struggle with at all? Because I've talked to people that's taken them years upon years to be able to even get somewhat close of being able to do it on command.
I'm not sure if you are talking about the same front pose that I'm doing because I have learned this body fitness uh, poses, and I think that in the America you might have other front pose than we
I
have.
think they do. Yeah, I think they might be doing something different. Yeah, so I might not be sure. Well, if it is NPC, I think it would be the same thing then. Or I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the same. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
If it's the
yeah.
same you are talking about, it is easy to me. Yeah.
She's one of those blessed people, then I guess everyone. But because I've talked to some people where they're like, I don't even know how to even do that. But yeah, that is hey, more power to you then, I guess, because that is awesome. But one of the things that I love to also bring up about this sport though too is that the moment that you start working out and lifting heavy, you're never going to be good enough. You're never going to be big enough. That whole body dysmorphia. See, we get that reaction every single time where it's the truth. It's sad, but it is true. How do you deal with that mental side of it where it's just a constant battle with yourself mentally?
Um, I have thinking that I am not the charge here. I have to listen my coach, and of course I am watching my figure on the mirrors and everything. And but I'm not charging me because I trust my coach, and he tell me where we are going and what is the condition and what I have to do. Are we doing everything right or not? So I don't even wanna know am I going to. I don't think that I am the right person to think this. Yeah, I leave it to my coach completely.
Hey, again, that is great because I have heard different from so many other guests. So that is great that you have that mindset, at least that you leave it to your coach. But speaking of coaching, I mean, especially in this day and age where almost everyone seems to be a coach, and a lot of people that I've talked to find that, there's so many more bad coaches than there are good coaches just because there's so many coaches. But in your personal experience, what makes a coach a good coach? Because that really differs from person to person. But I try to ask that question just in general, get a gist of, what makes a coach a good coach. So for you specifically, what makes a coach a good coach?
Okay, here's the thing. My coach have been 7 years in my life. I have had my ups and downs, and all this time he have been there for me. And I have had two childs in this 7 years, and one miscarriage, and he have always been there for me. And we have planned my meals and trainings and everything to support my personal life, and that's really important. So I don't feel like I am just somebody somewhere and he is putting some recipes, just do it like this and go away. I feel like he feels me and he is doing this with me and with my life. So it is, everything is like supporting each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, now I got to ask the $1 million question: how the hell have you been able to do this after having two kids? And now, how are you able to do this? Like just being able to step on stage even after having kids. Like I've always found that to be the most impressive. Moms to me are the most impressive guests on this show because just to be able to do all that. So how do you do it?
How I'm doing it? Okay. First of all, I have 4 children, and when I have my childrens on the
Just
house,
lie and say you had two because that makes it sound more easy. That makes it sound more doable for people. Now that you're saying you have four, now I'm gonna be like, okay, what kind of witchcraft is she using, basically?
thank you. Okay, so when I have I don't have men in the house, so I am single mother, but my exes are taking the children every other week. So that's how I have my 1 week when I can train. I'm training 6 times per week. And then came the children's week when I have every children in the house. And I'm not training on the week at all. So I have my system like uh, 1 week I'm training, 1 week I am resting, and circle is
Okay, hang on.
going.
I just got to interrupt. So you are telling me that you look like this from going 1 week on, 1 week off of training?
Yes.
All I can really take from that, people, is life truly is not fair for some people genetic wise. That's all I'm gonna really take for it. I mean, I guess whatever higher power you believe in just said that she was gonna make an example for her just to basically mock everyone else. Really is really that's the thing that I can really come out of this. If you're doing 1 week on one, that is absolutely incredible. I don't know even how to respond to that if we're being completely honest.
Okay. Yeah. But this is something what we have um, decided with my coach, and it's working,
Oh
as
well,
you can
duh.
see.
Well, of course it's working. Jeez, we can just see the results, but
Yeah.
that is wow. That is amazing. So, what is your kids' reaction like when they see their mom? With all these muscles and big and everything. What's their reaction to it?
Uh, I think that they just don't realize that it is different because they have always seen me like this. I have always had the muscles when we have been together, so they don't see me like I am some kind of different person.
And I mean, even though you aren't maybe training on those weeks that you have the kids, a lot of people that I talk to still have that itch on days that they're not training, where they really just have a hard time not going to the gym just because they're so used to it. Did you struggle with that at all at first, or are you? I mean, if you're gonna tell me that you never struggle with that at all, I guess I'm gonna have to believe you. But so how do you deal with those days, even though like you do need the rest? But how do you deal with the days when you aren't in the gym?
Um, yeah, this is good question. Sometimes I feel bad that I cannot go to gym, but then I think that it's so important to give my children this time with them. So it's motivating me to stay home. But yeah, if I could do what I want, I would have some babysitter and go to gym.
You can
But
always just use the kid. You can use the kids as weights too. If it really comes down to it, just do some squats with them or something like that. You can never really go wrong with that. But no, yeah,
yeah.
that is incredible. So I looking at your Instagram post, I thought maybe you might have had like one or two kids, but I didn't know that you had four. So again, I'm still flabbergasted a little bit right now. I'm still sort of taking it in. Like she looks like that. After four kids. So there's gonna be a lot of jealous and embarrassed people who listen to this podcast. So I'm just warning you about that. Ahead of time. But as you get ready for this off season, what are you looking forward to most in the off season life?
Eating. Eating is the best thing, I think. And of course, when I get more food, I'm getting stronger and I'm going to lift heavier weights. And it's inspires me. No, how to say? I'm inspired.
Inspirational.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, yeah.
Oh my god, I'm coming up with a compilation of non-English speakers like mispronouncing words, and it's just a compilation. So she's going to be added onto that, everyone. So you're going to at least but again, everyone, no. If I ever hear any complaints for anyone that's not speaking, let's try to do this interview and finish, and we'll see how good I do. That would be a comedy right there. So there's that. But being that you were in the powerlifting before, and that's a whole different way of working out when it comes to just maxing out and doing all that stuff. Was that a struggle adjusting to the bodybuilding sort of style of working out where it's not as, oriented towards lifting as much weight?
Um, because I'm training this uh, system I told you earlier, it is with me, it's going to be quite similar because I have to use so heavy weights that I can uh, push my limits. I need to do very hard work. I need to put my muscles on the limit. So when I have this 1 week period and then I have the rest week, I can really use that rest. So if you know what I mean.
Okay, everyone. So we have heard in like the last 5 minutes that she has four kids, goes 1 week on, 1 week off, and that she also does powerlifting training and she's able to look like that.
It's not just like powerlifting
Well, it's
training.
similar, yeah, but yeah.
Similar. I need to push my limits or in the every training. So
The only question I have is what demon did you make a deal with and where can I find this demon? Because I am somewhat like this is just absolutely ridiculous. And on top of the fact that like you have that Scandinavian like beauty too, it's like this is just it's not even fun anymore for me to talk to you anymore. I mean, it's like this is not even fair. So it's just I don't know what I'm so if someone were to walk up to you and say, I really want to get in shape. How do I get started? What's one thing that you would like to tell them or what's the best piece of advice that you would give to someone who is looking to maybe get in shape?
oh, good question. If somebody is coming to ask me, I would say that you have to eat properly, uh, good food, and don't cut your food. You have to put it calories up and get your metabolism like going on, and then you can decide what kind of training you like to do. So of course, everyone doesn't like to go lifting and everything. So I think that we have to think before we do sports, we have to think that our food is correct. So that's how we can manage.
Well, and I also love to talk about prep brain as well, because a lot of people don't understand that as you get closer to the show, just your mind can sometimes fail at times because it's just so dieted down. But now that I learned that you're a mom of four, how do you deal with prep brain and kids, especially as, I mean, even if you aren't training on those weeks, you are going to have those times where your brain might get a little foggy and it might be hard to sort of remember things. How do you deal with that, especially with four kids? That must be interesting at times.
Yeah. Okay. It had been hard to have so low calories. We have on my last competition, I had only 1,500 calories on week, 1 week, and I'm happy that I was alone on that week because if I would have my children in the house, it would be a mess. But yeah, it's hard to have these periods when you don't have so much to eat. So you you are right with that. So it really mess your head up.
I've heard multiple times of people who just like they'll even forget car keys and then they'll just be holding on to them the entire time and they don't even know. It's just it's funny how the brain can really mess with you, especially as it gets close to that. But we got to talk about tanning for shows because as you can tell, I mean, and I can tell because you have that Scandinavian whiteness where I have it too. Where look at how the sun reflects off of mine. Like it's not even it's almost vampire like, but when you get tan for a show, a lot of people don't have like our levels of whiteness. It's kind of hard for a lot of people to understand how hard that is. What was that like for you? And has it gotten easier as you've done more and more shows to sort of realize how much tan you need to have?
Yeah, I have had earlier enough color, but in Sweden, I was a little pale and I needed to put more color on the uh, last moment when I was in the stage.
How nerve wracking is that when you got to put it on like at the very last second?
Uh, Actually, I get message from my bikini person who is making my bikinis. She told me that, come on, you need some color, go to take some. And I was like, okay, going.
Well, and I mean, stepping on that stage too and posing in front of a lot of people, basically in a bikini. I mean, it's something that takes a lot of courage for a lot of people. I mean, even if you are in the best shape of your life, it still is a nerve wracking thing. Did you struggle with that at all? And has it gotten easier? Have you done more and more shows, or was it something that never really quite bothered you? Where did you fall on that?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe because I'm Finnish, the naked part is just easy, easy to me. I, I don't feel bad at all when I have not clothes on me. Yeah.
I forgot this is the basically the country that has all the most saunas in the entire world, basically, and it's just a whole thing. There. So I do got to ask you about that because I have had I think one or two other Finnish guests on, and we have a lot of saunas here in Minnesota, but I just didn't realize how big sauning is in Finland. Do you use that at all for sort of like losing weight, maybe spending a little bit extra time in the sauna to try to melt off some of the fat? Like, how does sauna play into any of your fitness journey? Because again, this is coming from someone who was just shocked to learn about how big that is in Finland.
Yes, actually, uh, I use my own sauna like every week, sometimes more days than couple of them. And yeah, uh, actually it's helping me when I have cold and I feel like my diet is so low. And then I go to sauna and it helps me to get my temperature better. So, and of course, when I am in the sauna, I'm sweating and it helps the water going up to my body. So, yeah.
I was that mischievous little kid who I would put extra rocks in the sauna when people were in it just to do all that. So that was me, everyone. But yeah, I honestly have not been sauning in a while, and I really need to get back into it. Especially, and I have heard from the other Finnish guests. I remember them saying that like if they did get a little bit of a sickness, then going into the sauna actually did help them. So I do gotta remember that as well. But yeah, that's I mean, when I was before I have guests on from different countries, I always do a little bit of research in the country, and when I found that out about saunas, I was like, okay, yeah, that is very fascinating. But just this journey in general is varies really from person to person. But if someone were to also walk up to you and say, we made the decision, you can change one thing about the sport of bodybuilding and everyone would go along with it, would be one thing that you'd like to see changed?
What I would like to change in bodybuilding? Uh, hmm, I don't know. If it would be something what is like imagine, I would like to eat more and keep my body fit. Yeah.
So what is your go-to cheat meal that you like to eat the most?
What can you ask?
What is your favorite cheat meal to have?
Cheat meal. Cinnamon buns.
Okay, don't hate me for this, but I make my own cinnamon buns, and I literally had some last night.
Oh my god.
Especially, please tell me, obviously you like them with the frosting as well?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're very, very good. I'm not going to be that person that sends you an image of them because I don't want to make you drool or anything like that. But yeah, they are very, very good. We have, for some reason in our family, whenever we cook Mexican, so we'll have tacos and stuff like that. We'll also have cinnamon buns on the side for that. So I guess that's a thing. But yeah, we had them last night, and I helped make them. And damn it, you got me drooling now a little bit myself, even thinking about them. But yeah, that is ridiculous. But when it comes down to your prep diet, what is the main food that you have? Is it just your chicken and rice, or do you do anything special?
Actually, I like eat a lot mincemeat because I like the red meat more, like more than chicken. Of course,
Did you say
when we
mincemeat?
yeah mincemeat.
Oh, okay. I thought, because I know some people, like one person was talking about one of the Finnish guests was talking about how they like reindeer meat, and I was like, okay, I guess that might be a thing in Finland. So that's why I thought you were saying like meals, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, no worries. But
Mincemeat,
yeah,
like red meat.
yeah. No, that's
Okay,
yeah.
it's my favorite, and pasta, and sometimes I eat rice and chicken, or rice and mincemeat and veggies. Yeah, but it's always like the same, and I love to eat same food all day long.
So I'm gonna be completely honest. I have not heard mincemeat in my almost my entire life being in Minnesota. So I was looking that up while you asked me because like I gotta let's see what this. So is it really meat that's basically in it's put with like fruit, spices, and stuff? Is that mincemeat?
Mincemeat, what I'm talking about is like red meat,
Yeah,
like a cow,
yeah.
and it's a meat. I don't know how to say.
Oh, because I got this picture on my phone when I was looking at it.
Oh no 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 no
Okay,
no.
good. I was gonna say because like if you're telling me you're eating basically the equivalent of pie and doing all that other stuff that you told me, I would hang up right now and just say, you know what, I can't publish this because like people aren't gonna believe me, and you're gonna be called a psychopath first of all for being able to do this. So like I don't. Yeah. So okay, thank God there was that because I was just
Okay.
about to be like, okay, she's the most impossible get. Like I was almost gonna be like, okay, I'm taking out an entire loan from the bank and I'm paying you all the money that I have just to train me then because then I don't know what my faith in humanity has been restored a little bit, at least I will say that now.
Okay. Okay, but let's say that I love to eat red meat,
Yeah.
so
Okay. Yeah.
that's
So
my favorite.
okay. Yeah. Good. Good. I'm glad that I asked that honestly, because then when I was editing this and I heard I would have ended up looking up mincemeat myself and I'd be like, okay, there's no way that this is possible. So at least, we got that, out of the way there. But, you know, do you have any goals for next year when you compete again? Do you just want to place? Or are you looking to win? I mean, obviously people want to win, but what are your goals looking like for next year when it comes to shows?
Uh, of course, I'm trying to win, and I would like to win to have the Olympic place, and that's my goal.
And what's one area of your physique that you hope that you've improved on the most when we do talk to you in a year? Because I'd love to have you on in a year to give us an update. What area of your body do you wish to have improved on the most?
My back,
Okay.
definitely.
I was unfortunately, or I should say fortunately, blessed with a nice back where that's the one area for me where I can just look at it and it will grow. But I'm also 6'3", so My legs don't even get me started. So when you said legs, I was like, okay, I can at least sympathize with her a little bit, because calves don't even get me started too. That's the most genetic body part on the planet, where you can, I have always made the joke, I could inject pure muscle into my calves and they won't gain an ounce. I mean, it's just, not going to work. But also, I mean, or I should say, lastly, as, we get more and more into the show and talk to more and more guests, I always sort of like to ask, a lot of people just don't understand what the appeal of bodybuilding is. A lot of people look at that and they go, oh, that's just a lot of people that they just, work out a lot and they go on stage and they pose. What do you get out of bodybuilding that makes it so fulfilling? Because, I'm asking a lot of guests just so I can try to get an answer, so I can, tell people, because a lot of people just do not understand, like, what do people really get out of this sport? So for you, what do you get out of the sport, and what makes the sport so enjoyable to you?
I see it like it's my it's my life. This is the way I want to live. I think it's healthy way, and because we are eating so much vitamins, and we eat rich food, and it's everything is good for me. And of course, I want that my children is learning how to eat correct, and they are learning how to pick your goals and stick to them and go to them. So I just see that this is everything positive in my life, and it's the uh, I don't know, it's just keeping my life in the lines.
At what age do you think you're going to get your kids started to work out a little bit?
When you ask, uh, uh, I hope that they are starting like some 14 years or 16 years, something like that. And when it happens, I want them to ask about how to do it correct, and I want to support them. So, of course.
So her kids, if you're watching this, don't ask your mom about it. Just troll her like that and just go in and start working out yourself. Don't do it. No, but I'm glad that you said 14, 16, because I've had some guests on where like, oh, we're training them now and they're like 10 years old. And I was like, okay, you got to wait a little bit. Come on, people. Like, you got to do that. But lastly, with Instagram especially being such a huge thing that's really helped taking off the sport, but there's also that sort of negative side to Instagram as well, where a lot of times guests have a hard time not comparing themselves to others, especially when they're going into a show and they might know some of the competitors that are going into a show with them. They might check out their Instagram pages and just see what they look like. And then a lot of times, people, they might not edit their photos, but they might just be a perfect angle where you might look a lot better. So then a lot of people get discouraged. Have you suffered at all with, maybe not even accidentally, but just maybe viewing people that you're competing against and just having a hard time not doing that? And how have you ever struggled with that at all, or what's that been like?
Uh, of course, I need. I know some people who are coming against me, but I don't feel like I have to be worried, because I know that I have done everything I can, and I have done it with my coach, and my coach know am I ready to go to the stage or not. And if my coach is telling me that everything is fine, you will get this and go, so I don't have to think anything else. So I trust him.
And what is one thing that you wish that or what's probably the biggest misconception that you get as a bodybuilder that you would wish to disprove?
Can you repeat the question?
What is the biggest myth or misconception that you get as a bodybuilder that you like to disprove to people?
Prove to people. Prove.
Disprove. So like, or what's the biggest like myth or stereotype that you get that you would like to prove false to people?
Oh, yeah. And one thing, uh, as I'm a woman, I have heard that people thinks that when you are lifting and bodybuilding, you are getting manly and masculine and everything. And here I am. I am in my feminine, and I think that it shows up when I'm going to stage, even though I have muscles, a lot of them, but I feel so feminine and beautiful and everything. And I hope that people are seeing it, that we can be feminine and beautiful all the time.
Well, this is why I hate talking to Scandinavian women because, like I've said before, all of you guys are just out of the womb supermodels, basically looking like. So it's not even fair to that. So it's just ridiculous. But I mean, yeah, it's true. Like I love. That's why I wanted to really talk to you because I saw your profile and I was like, yeah, she really does promote the feminine side as well, which some people don't do, but I think it really needs to be shown a lot more of. And you know, it's great to have that example because a lot of people really should be following that. And again, you know, I cannot thank you enough for coming on and sharing your journey. I really, really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing, you know, what the future has in store for you. I think the future for you is, you know, really bright. And yeah, it was just absolutely amazing to talk to you. And I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Well, this is Ryan Johnson, DD on the spot. Excuse me, signing off. Have a great day, everyone.